What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASA Studio. In today's video we're going to be doing an eye-hand photo retouching tutorial, and so it's going to be a Capture One and Photoshop tutorial. So let's get started. The first thing first, I want to edit this photo in Capture One, and just because Capture One is the appropriate or the one that can actually fix the problem I want to do, that's why I'm using Capture One first before taking it to Photoshop. So let's get started. The first thing I would like to balance or observe is the photo. I would like to balance the skin tones. As you can see, it's very rough, and we have uneven color on the skin. So this is how to fix that. Let's create an empty adjustment layer, and I'm going to grab the magic brush tool, and I'm going to select the skin, and Capture One is going to select the skin for us like this. So let's hit M on the keyboard to show where it's been selected. You can select more, and more of those places will be selected. Let's just include the highlights for the sake of the tutorial, but sometimes I don't like selecting the highlight. Now let's say this is what we have. Okay, alright, don't mind the background. We could actually use the eraser tool to erase part of the background part of the image. Now hit M on the keyboard to hide that, and go to the color editor. I'm going to pick on the sampler tool, and this is how the sampler tool works. You choose a place where you want all the color to look like. So in this case, I'm going to pick in somewhere around the ear, so pick this side, or you can pick an average color, so like that. And then I'm going to go to the uniformity. Let's zoom out a little bit so we see what we're doing. Under the uniformity tab, I'm going to increase the hue extremely because the photo itself needs an extreme adjustment. So I'm going to take that all the way up and increase the saturation as well till we have it like this, and as you can see, it's actually red. Now concerning the lightness, the lightness here, I want this darker side to blend with the darker side and all the lightness to match. So I'm going to take that one up as well, and you can see how it brings up, make it so uniform. Alright, so I'm not going to take it to the end, just there, and I'm going to take this back a little bit and take this one forward so it looks kind of yellowish. Now that's not the end. We need to fix those darker parts of our skin, which is this down part and the rest part. So let's grab another empty adjustment, pick on the magic brush tool, and I'm going to select the the neck, and hit M on the keyboard to show the places that are selected. I'm also going to select most of the places, so just like that. And now that we have it like this, I can select some part of that side, and so we have it. So hit M on the keyboard and hit M again. So let's erase it from where we don't need. I'm going to erase from this side and erase it from this side, so something like this. And now I'm going to hit M. I'm going to go back to the eye hand, this place, and I'm going to increase the shadows to where it blends a bit. Now the goal here is to make the shadows lighter a little bit so it could blend with the the color of the the face. So this is okay. I could also increase the blacks, and we have it like this, not too much. Alright, so now that we have that, we have two, which is 1 and 2. So brighten it up a little bit. Now we're going to create one last adjustment, and we're going to make adjustment to the overall photo. So let's create a new empty adjustment layer, and I'm going to select the full face, something like that, and hit M to show where it's selected. And the reason why I'm doing this is to adjust the saturation. I'm just trying to adjust the saturation and also the dynamic range of the photo. Alright, so now let's go back. So hit M on the keyboard, and let's go to the dynamic range. Now things you need to note is, why do you want to adjust the highlights? So as you can see, I want to blend the highlight, so I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to do it at the color editor, and I'm going to take the sampler tool, and I'm going to sample a place. Let's say we want to sample somewhere here again, so that's the side. You can see where it's chosen, and we're going to increase the hue to blend all together again, and increase the saturation. Let's zoom out so it blends with the background. We could increase the lightness a bit. Now my focus is on the amount, the hue, so I'm going to take the hue forward so as to give it this, yellowish, and I'm going to decrease the saturation, and something like this seems fine to me. Okay, but not too much. Let's just take it up a little and find a sweet spot for it. So that looks fine to me. Okay, so now we can now start working on the background. So I could turn off and you can see where we're coming from this, and this. Okay, so let's quickly do a before and after. So this is our before and then this is our after. Now one more thing we need to do, turn on the exposure warning, and you can see that some places are just too bright. Okay, so we're going to create a new fill adjustment layer, and let's decrease the white. So go to the eye dynamic and we can decrease the white till we have something like that, and decrease the highlight. If it's going to affect the face, let's see, it's not affecting the face, so it's just trying to affect. Now since we have that, let's open up the exposure. Under the exposure, I'm going to decrease the brightness a bit, just a bit, -2. Okay, so we have less exposure now, so this is okay for me. Now let's work with the background. One last thing, work with the background. We could do this in Photoshop, but I just like doing it in Capture One. So select the tool, magic brush tool, and select the background, hit M to show those places, and I'm going to select most of the place. Let's select more of those places, and I'm going to turn on this tool, and now we could hit M and then bring down the saturation a bit, and also bring down the brightness so it creates more dimension and 3D. Alright, so we could also do one more. Let's grab the brush tool and add the iron like this. Okay, so one more thing I would like to do is to work on the clothes. Let's create a new empty adjustment layer, and this time I'm going to select the clothes. It's M on the keyboard to view where we select. So just something like this, just select the cloth, and why I'm doing this is to just decrease the brightness. So hit M to hide it. Let's decrease the brightness a bit, yeah, something like that. If that's too much, we could increase the saturation, and then go to the highlight and bring down the white. And to create more dimension, I'm going to bring down the blacks and the shadows. So alright, so last thing, I'm going to erase the effect on the lips, the first effect. So this one, it's M on the keyboard, and you can see it on the lips. So I'm going to erase it with the eraser tool and decrease the brush size and remove it from the lips like that. So we have that one. Go ahead to the second one if it's actually present. Go to the third one, it's there. So I'm going to remove it from it like this, and so we're done with this. And now we can take it to Photoshop. We could also remove it from the eyes if it's affecting the eyes for the first one as well. Take it down and this. Okay, let's remove it from the eyes and remove it from the eyes. Okay, so for this one, remove it from the eyes and remove it from the eyes. Okay, so hit M on the keyboard to hide the mask now, and let's see before and after. So this is our before, and then this is after. So now let's take it to Photoshop to continue more edits, make more edits, and make the picture glow. Alright, so here we are in Photoshop, and we're going to continue the tutorial. The first thing I'm going to be doing is to perform an exposure correction. So let's grab the exposure adjustment layer, and I'm going to take it backwards, and this is just going to darken the part of the air. So that's what I want to achieve. I'm going to close it, create a stem visible layer, and then I'm going to do some frequency separation. So let's hit Ctrl J twice and name this one color. I'm going to be fast with this one, and this should be texture. Hit enter. Alright, so turn off the color layer, I'm going to select the color, the texture layer, select the color, go to filter, and go to blur. It's just normal frequency separation. I'm going to blur it a little just because the image is of low resolution. So let's take about 3.0. That should be fine. I'm going to turn on the texture, select the texture, go to image, apply image, and then we're going to select the color layer under the layer, and blending mode subtract, and I'm going to hit OK. Now change the blending mode of that to linear light. Good. So now we can start making adjustment. So I'm going to select the mixer tool and select the color and zoom in, decrease the crease, and then I'm going to blend the colors together. And mind you, I'm not going to be touching the highlights. I'm just going to blend the image together like this, and just watch me as I go about doing it. Alright, so you don't need to go do much on it, just need to do just little, and it's going to come out fine. And please follow the contour of our face so as to avoid making the image look flat. So something like this. I'm going to do it on this side as well. So take a look at how I preserve the highlight. So I didn't want to touch the highlight at all. So just blend it a little, and this side as well. I'm also going to do this side to blend the two images together. So something like this should be fine. And to just manage zoom in, I'm going to blend this as well. Just how to perform frequency separation, blend the two images together. Please, as you are doing it, try zooming out, and so something like this looks okay to me. And I'm going to blend just the nose, and take note how I manage the background. Okay, so on the lips now, I'm going to blend it together like this, and zoom out, make it bigger. Okay, so I just want to do a quick frequency separation. I don't want to go ahead, because if I want to edit this, it will take a long time to blend all together. So I'm going to pause the video and make proper adjustment. But before that, let me finish blending just the body. So something like this, and the image is actually a low resolution image. Alright, so now I think I'm going to blend it more. Okay, so something like this. Select the texture, select the close down to. I'm going to remove some dirt. Go to Hit Alt on the keyboard and select a place, and cover that. I'm going to make it smaller. Alt, and okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to erase it from some places like this, and select this one. Okay, alright, I'm going to zoom out and just a little bit of this place. You know what to do if you are doing frequency separation. Just make the image look good. Now another thing I would like to do is to blend the background. So I'm going to select this mixer tool and quickly do that with the background like this, and blend it all together. Yeah, well, the image is of low resolution, so I apologize for that. Okay, so we have something like this at the end. Blend image, and now we could create a stem visible layer after adjustment. Alright, so now create a stem visible layer, and I'm going to go to filter, camera raw filter. So back to camera raw filter. First thing first, let's try and see how to get the image look okay. So let's try the color balance by picking a color, white side, and boom, so we have that different. Okay, so I'm gonna work with the highlights, bring it all the way up to have something brighter. Take the blacks down, not too much, and we could increase. I don't want to increase the white just because we decreased it in capture one. So texture, let's give it some texture, and I think I'm okay with that. I think that's okay for the now. We could go to the color mixer and let's give the hue. Let's start with the hue. The orange, I want it to look not like the red. Let's just find if it needs to look more like the orange. So this looks like a dark skin, brown skin girl, and this looks more like a yellow skin. I guess this looking red. I don't like the red type. I think the yellow one is a little bit preferable. So let's leave it like this. Something a little bit different. And the red. Let's take it towards the red. And the yellows. Take it towards the yellows. I guess there's nothing more except the purple and the blue. We need to work towards that and take this backwards. So something like this. Now go to the saturation, take this increase and bring this back. And also we could make the red saturated because of our lips. And let's mess around with the orange. And that should be okay. And for the luminance, I'm going to bring down the blues and bring down the purples and something like that. So I'm going to close it, and the calibration is the last part. So black screen, I do take this backwards and take this upward, something like this, and find the sweet spot for the green. So I think this should be fine. And just take it forward, and let's see before we did and after. Great correction. I'm gonna hit OK on the keyboard, and there we have it. Okay, so this should be where I'm going to stop by retouching this. I can go on and doing more retouch with the air, making it black, and that could be used. We could use curve, and we could decrease, take this up a little bit, and let's bring this down. And I just want to make correction on the air, so I'm going to invert the mask, and I'm going to paint it with a brush to, let's paint with black, and I'm just going to paint with white, sorry, and on the air, sorry, Ctrl Z, let me do that again. It's just to make the air look more darker, so something like this. And we could decrease the opacity, and like I said, increase the opacity a bit till we have it like this. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. See you in our next video. Once again, this is ASAS Studio.